This news may result in people taken to the streets. I think lockdown protests will pale in comparison to this news. Unemployment benefits are being recalled. Yes, people are having to pay back unemployment benefits. We have seen over the last few months people struggling emotionally, psychologically, financially, and unemployment benefits were a lifeline and a much needed reprieve for many. And now, to make matters worse, they receive a notice that states that they have been overpaid by state government and that the benefits that they paid into when they were working now have to be paid back. And this is such a sucker punch to people, and no one needed this. So states are asking for unemployment recipients who were paid benefits during the pandemic to pay back some of the money. Before we get into this topic, this is the Legal Code, and my name is Miriam Greenidge. If it's your first time here, if you're a returning subscriber, I thank you and welcome back. And on this channel, we discuss various legal issues circulating, whether that's in the boardroom. Well, it always starts in the boardroom, but if it enters pop culture, we discuss it. And we are here to help you be informed about these different legal topics. If you like that sort of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification box and share this information if you think it will be helpful to someone else. I know I look a little different. I had a chemical peel by my dear esthetician, Kaidi, so I can't wear makeup during the healing process when my skin is peeling, so that's why I look a little different. But a girl has to do what a girl has to do, and Kaidi is so amazing that I'm brave enough and confident enough to face all of you without any makeup. If you're in the New York area and you're looking for an esthetician, Kaidi is wonderful. I will link her information below. I've been seeing her for 10, 11 years now, and she has transformed my skin enough that I could confront and face all of you without any makeup. Given the choice, I would always wear makeup, but she has me looking so good that I could do it without, and so just thought I'd give that little plug. Anyway. So unemployment benefits, here's the thing. This news is not heavily reported in the news and media yet, but just so you're not blindsided, I want to bring it to you. It's something you should be paying attention to. Each state is doing their own thing as it relates to this. So some states have already been sending out notices asking for recipients to pay back some of the money that was paid to them. Typically, paying back unemployment benefits is rare, but these times are rare and weird, and we're dealing with a very unstable time and an unpredictable administration. So keep an eye out, because we don't know what's coming around the corner. But just so you know that this is what's happening. According to a recent Government Accountability Office report that was done in March of 2020 to June 2021, state unemployment benefits were overpaid by $12.9 billion. That is $12.9 billion. A little more than 1 million was due to fraud. So you may be asking, the government has accountants, actuarians, resources. Why could they make this mistake to overpay anyone? Well, there are three reasons. Fraud is one of them. A lot of criminals took the opportunity to steal people's social security number during the pandemic and the personal information of people during the pandemic to make unemployment claims. So that's one reason. Also, there are a lot of perfectly innocent reasons a state may overpay someone's unemployment benefits. An error on the application is also another reason. If you didn't mean to and you made some mistake on the application resulting in a large unemployment check than you should have received, this is another reason. Conversely, the state made a mistake. The state didn't mean to, but something went wrong in their calculations and you were overpaid. And finally, an appeal from your former employer. So you received the benefit, you were entitled to it, but your employer then went and appealed it. And if you didn't already have enough reason to dislike your former employer, after all, here's another reason to add to the list. And Amy in HR, or Patricia, whatever her name, appealed the decision to give you an unemployment benefits and won. I don't know if you have an Amy in your HR department, but it's always someone named Amy or Patricia that works in HR, so that's why I'm saying that. But anyway, so they appealed it once you already were receiving it. So now you know the possible reasons for receiving overpayment notices. Here's what you do if you receive a notice. You will typically receive a letter notifying you of overpayment. The first thing to do is to call the number provided on your overpayment notice. This is not a joke. Yes, you have to call. The wait times will be incredibly long, and it will feel like a waste of time, and it probably will be because no one will answer and you will be on the phone for an indefinite amount of time and waste your day away. So try that. You may get lucky and you may get to someone. You should almost guarantee that you will not get to a person though. So here's the next step that you should prepare for. Most states have the option to write via email or a hard copy letter. In that letter, you will need to prepare a statement why that you received an overpayment notice and you would like more details from the Department of Labor at inquiring about this notice. So you will need your documentation to prepare this statement, this initial statement. So you may be asking, can you get free legal help? If you're interested in getting legal help, look up your local office on the Legal Services Corporation website, which is the legal aid division that helps low-income people. Typically, to qualify for these services, you have to be indigent and have extremely limited resources. So don't bet on this strategy. There's also an organization that I found called Empower Work that specifically helps people facing challenges with unemployment benefits. Empower Works has peer counselors that may be able to provide guidance and resources to you, but also these are not-for-profit organizations and their resources are stretched thin, so that's never a guarantee. However, your best bet is probably to write to unemployment office and ask them for more information. You know it's not my video unless there's a siren. So you may be asking if you have to pay back unemployment benefits. Here is the heartbreaking part. Usually you never have to pay back unemployment benefits, but in these weird times during the pandemic, like I said, an unstable and unpredictable administration, you may. So if your state asks you to repay the benefits, you typically have 3 options as a response. You repay the unemployment benefits. Maybe it becomes clear that you really do owe the state money. In that case, for many people, the answer is simple. You have no basis to contest the overpayment decision. You know that you've been overpaid and you just pay it back through a payment plan and you move on with your life. This is a David and Goliath issue, and you're David and you don't want to dedicate a lot of time and resources and possibly money to try and fight state government. I'm telling you, you do not. It's a waste of time and you will not win in most cases, especially if the error is on you and you know you've been overpaid. You also have the option to plead your case. If you have a basis to challenge the decision of overpayment, you can contest the decision, which requires a timely appeal of the overpayment decision. This means you have a short window from when you receive the overpayment letter to respond and ask to appeal the determination. An appeal leads to a hearing with an administrative law judge at the local Department of Labor office. This will likely be on the phone or Skype because of the pandemic, but it depends on where you're located if the courts are open and you will actually have an administrative hearing in person. So that's an option, but that's only an option if you have a credible reason that your overpayment was suitable and wasn't an error. That said, don't get your hopes up. It's hard to overcome an overpayment decision because the state uses very complicated formulas. Lastly, you can always ask for mercy. If you can't pay your state back, you can also appeal this decision to say you just don't have the money to pay the amount the state is requesting. If you do this, you'll probably have to do an in-person hearing with an administrative judge. Will you explain your financial hardship and the details, and that you need the details and you're unable to afford the amount the state is asking for? A hearing could lead to you receiving a waiver in which you don't have to repay the overpayment, or you may just be asked to pay less. So those are your options. If you don't have all of your pertinent paycheck information, you won't be able to make this appeal. So you'll have to circle back to your previous employer and request it. Employers should be gung-ho about providing any information requested by the state, including wage information, dates of employment, and whether the individual is still employed, full-time, part-time, etc. So if you have a letter stating that you were overpaid for unemployment benefits, you should certainly review your weekly earnings that you receive and compare it to the amounts reported to the state for the same pay periods. If the fault lies with you, like I said, you can appeal on the grounds of financial hardship. If you've done the comparison and the state made the error, you need to reach out to them. No matter what, you don't want to ignore this. If earnings were correctly reported, the employee has a limited time frame from the date of the notice to file a written appeal with the state. Like I said, there's a small window to appeal this. If the employee doesn't file a timely appeal, the determination becomes final and the amount owed remains as is, and you may be subjected to garnishment or a civil court judgment if left unpaid, and they will garnish you. So keeping track of unemployment benefits, you'll need to have all the numbers handy, all the documentation, and you need this for your taxes for when you file for the following year. So if you're asked by your state to repay unemployment benefits and you can't pay it back, contact them. Like I said, this is very important that you don't neglect this and you contact them and you use your best efforts to communicate with them. Ignoring it exacerbates it. I know this is not fair, being that unemployed, underemployed, or being poor is just bad enough as it is, and that you've paid into unemployment and this is a right to receive this benefits, especially during such a challenging time. But it is what it is, and I'm here to provide you with the legal information so that you can be as prepared as possible. Hopefully this information has been helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and comment below if you have any questions as it relates to you, and if you started receiving, or if you know anyone who's received any notices from the Department of Labor in their state requesting payback. Let me know in the comments. Thanks again. Bye-bye.